Okay, the Hazleton City Council regular meeting will come to order Tuesday, September 23rd, 2004. Let's rise for a moment of silent meditation. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bast.
Here.
Cassatt.
Here.
Mope.
Here.
Sosar.
Here.
Mundy.
Here. First is approving the minutes of the previous meeting, September 9, 2014 regular meeting.
I have a change. And under Resolution 2014-99, about the eighth roll down there, it said 2,000 ordinances. It was 2,000 files of ordinances and resolutions. It wasn't really.
I'm sorry, what resolution was it?
It was where I mentioned 2,000. You have 2,000 ordinances. I said there was 2,000 files of ordinances and resolutions.
Oh, okay.
And down about four lines lower than that, you have the fire department. The police department, and it was the fire department.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, present with the changes.
Present that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes passed. Proclamations, communications. Council President will now read the 2015 minimum municipal obligation for each of the four pension plans as followed. The police pension plan, $2,745,739. The fireman's pension plan, $1,673,514. The non-uniform pension plan, $256,261. And the public transit, $0. Next is courtesy floor regarding matters on their agenda only. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
This is on Resolution 2014-101. Can we still reduce ours? Our level's been changed.
Can I answer that?
Too?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, according to the 2014 distress score, which were based on the 2013 actuals on August 15th of 2014, Hazleton actually scored a 2, which lowered us to moderately distressed.
Right.
So according to Act 44, the city may pay 75% for 4 years. The city already used it in 2010 with Resolution 79, 2011 with Resolution 74, 2012 with Resolution 72, and 2013 with Resolution 96. So I don't believe we can.
Well, I did know there was you only could do it so many years for each distress level. So you don't have an attorney here, so I would suggest that you maybe ask the attorney. Can he answer that? Can you even call?
Maybe before we pass it, we'll have to check on it.
Okay, and Resolution 2014-105. Is there anywhere in the law that you can just dedicate property tax to one agency?
You mean for the police?
Yeah.
You're talking about the
Yeah.
referendum. Well, evidently we need to ask the lawyer that as well.
Yeah, I tried to get in touch with Chris today. I had no luck. He was at a meeting.
Yeah, I emailed him yesterday. I still didn't get an answer, so.
You're asking valid questions, and unfortunately, it's hard, and we go around the circles with this each and every meeting. It's hard for us to do our work when, unfortunately, we aren't able to receive information to make the appropriate decisions. And I can feel your frustration. I hope you feel our frustration.
Okay, I'd ask you then to consider tabling them until you get legal opinions. But
Well, this is just a referendum, this is just a thing to go on a referendum. We haven't passed any resolution as far as funding.
that was just my next question to that.
It's
The
just...
way it's worded, David, you remember
Right.
how things are worded.
Right.
This does not look like it's properly worded.
No.
I would suggest that you have an attorney properly word it before you pass it. Because the way it's worded, you can wind up in more trouble than anything. The wording is not good.
Right.
And it's in third-class city code. It tells you how, when you, using the Government Study Commission
Right.
referendum as an example, it's quite clear how you word things. This is not worded properly.
Right.
Before you put yourself in harm's way. Again, I'm so sorry. Can I go over and sit there and pretend I'm the lawyer for you?
Thank you. Right back there, you're next.
Kenneth Sapowski, 3 El Camino Road, Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and also Hazleton City employee. I'm here to talk to you regarding Resolution 2014-105, a resolution authorizing a police protection tax referendum. As the administrative lieutenant, I oversee police functions under the chief of police. In this capacity, I serve as the second in command. It is my firm belief that the only way for Hazleton to get better is to add additional police to the force. There is nothing left to do with the current staff that is stretched past the breaking point to the dangerous level that it is now. Dangerous because there are not enough officers to go from call to call. Dangerous because officers have calls backed up and stacked. While tied up on one call, another 2 or 3 are waiting and not able to get the immediate response. The stress level the officers face, as well as the danger to officer safety, is increased when only one cop is capable of responding to a high-risk incident, such as a domestic or fight. What is equally dangerous is that the emergency calls have to wait, and the public cannot be properly served. The criminal element of this area recognizes that police are a diminished commodity, and as such, criminals are very willing to take a chance and commit a crime, recognizing in most cases they will get away with it. HPD has done everything possible to cover all the deficiencies with the amount of people it currently has. The only way the police can keep up with and get ahead of the criminal element is to have more police on the street. It is my personal and professional request that you please vote yes to allow a public safety referendum to be placed on the ballot for this election. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you know who wrote this resolution? Was
I
it
do
that-
not know that. All I want is I want the public to have a choice to vote whether they want more police or not.
I'm asking because I wasn't sure if Attorney Slessor did this or where it came from, so, but thank you. If you don't know, we'll have to find out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dee Deacus, Hazleton. Again, this is concerning Resolution 2014-105. First of all, our property taxes do pay for police protection. We also have a secondary tax, the LST tax, that also pays for police protection. I'm not saying that we shouldn't put more money into police, but the mayor should call what it is a tax increase, and he could normally referendums are non-binding, and you might as well just say, okay, we're just going to do it anyway to do that. Now, the one thing about, I agree, our police are stretched to their limit, and just like in a school district, when a teacher goes out, they call in a substitute. What I would really like to see is, one, the police contract open to allow part-time police. And not that the part-time police would be by themselves, but this way, in an emergency situation, you could have the 2 policemen in one car, your part-timer plus your regular one. This would cut down on the overtime because I'm sure all this overtime has to be stressing all the officers. And I think that all the other communities are doing well with part-timers. And one of the advantages of a part-timer, because I do believe we should have a minimum amount of policemen, at least 35. So when a position becomes open, you already know what the policeman looks like. Just like they said in the school district, when there was positions open for school teachers, substitutes should have had the advantage. So this way we get to try the policeman before he gets hired full-time, and it would cut back on all the overtime and give you more officers on the street at a much more reasonable cost than the overtime does. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Judy Urcho, Hazleton. Also want to talk about Resolution 2014-105. Why is it every time the mayor wants something done, he goes to our landowners, our property taxes? It's every time that we get hit. And we're talking about a community where a lot of people are elderly, a lot of people don't make a lot of money, and the well's dry. There is other options, but the whole thing is they focus so much on the downtown, on how let's make that beautiful, when we live in a hornet's nest. And I agree, there's a lot of crime. I watched the drug deal go down on Alter Street. I watched it personally. In the middle of the day, I saw it happen with my mother in the car. Now, if my mother wasn't there, I would have went around the block and took a picture of the car and the license plate. But my mother was in the car, and at 79, I don't think that she could put up with anybody harassing. I didn't have a problem with that. I have seen so much garbage, and there's so much in the paper anymore, murders and everything else. Oh yes, we do need more cops, but we need to find a different avenue. Look for grants, look for people to come in. But you know, as a business owner, and I've owned 2 of them, I would never open up a business, not downtown or anywhere in the city. Not when we have people that are going in and robbing with machetes and have no fear on doing that. I'd be afraid to have people in at night. There's Grocers Plus, who is right down the street from me, closes at 7 now because they can't find anybody to work late. I wouldn't want my kid working late at night. There has to be a different way. If you walk downtown and everybody's like, oh, well, you know, we're going to bring business there, who would want to open up? What's going on? We make the papers for heroin. We make the papers for murders. If I wanted to put a place downtown, I would be like, no way. If I wanted to come downtown. And then Chambers sits there and says, well, we've got Eagles coming. That doesn't benefit Hazleton. That benefits Township. Maybe we should start talking to Township since they have all the money. Maybe, just maybe, we can get together with them and get a force for the Hazleton area, Township included, because they have to rely on the state police, which is also stretched very, very thinly. Maybe that's our answer. Maybe if we open up communications there. But it's not going after the property tax people again and again and again and again. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Yes, I like I said, I understand. I'd love to have 500 people on the police force. But I can't afford to pay for it. And I don't think most of Hazleton can either. And if the mayor wants to put his head in the sand and think that like everybody's going to say, yeah, we got crime going, I want to spend an extra $100, $200, $300, $400 a year now on my taxes, that's not going to happen. Because we're sick of it. We're sick of us coming to our well. Find another option. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Mark, you can come up.
Mark Rabo, Hazleton. 2014, 100, and this could correlate to also 2014, 105, and 2014, 101 with regards to the fire. Like to follow up with what Judy said, if you tax the property owners, not only are they not going to be able to afford it, they're going to lose their homes. The properties they had are going to go vacant. Those vacant properties are going to become decayed and eventually blighted. And then what are you going to do? We're going to have a city of abandonment. because you don't realize that people that can't afford to pay exorbitant taxes for salaries, okay, and overtime and pensions, it's overwhelming. We don't have working professionals and entrepreneurs that subsidize the services. We have, and this is no disrespect to the people coming into Hazleton, but we have refugees from New York City and New Jersey coming here. And most of them are renters, okay? They're not property owners, except for maybe 5% of them. 95% are renters. The ones that you're going to, ask for money are the people like me, my mother, my brother, and everybody else that owns property in Hazleton or has owned property in Hazleton, or family members that own property in Hazleton. And you're going to tell them, oh yeah, you're going to foot the bill for the people who are causing the problems that are coming in and bringing in the New Jersey, New York, hood life, the ghetto life. And I'm sorry, but my father, God rest his soul, didn't want this crap. My father's family lives in New Jersey, in Patterson. And this crap is normal over there. Now we get it here. Nobody wants it. And believe me, I would love to have cops on the street. I've been saying since last year about foot patrols. That hasn't happened. I've said about auxiliary police. The chief wants to bring fly-by-nighters from New York. I mean, come on here. This isn't freaking romper room. This is serious stuff. This is life and death, survival. So let's try to get a plan and strategy that actually is feasible. I'll give you an example. I was in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin last year. They have 60 police officers. About 35, 40 are full-time, and they have 15 part-time and 5 volunteers. Now, they haven't had a murder in 2 years. And now, what's so special about a small little town in Wisconsin? They're 1 hour north of Chicago, Illinois, which is the murder capital of this country. And if they could keep murder rates to 0 in 2 years, why can't we? Any ideas? Why? I mean, I've tried to figure that out, and it's like, the only thing I could think of is when I look at the salaries, I'm thinking to myself, and overtime, heck, you got senior officers making 6 figures. Think we might have a little shared sacrifice here? I mean, my family and everybody else's family bust their ass. 2, 3 shifts. Some people work 2 jobs, 3 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And they own properties too. They pay into the system, and our town's in decay. So all I'm saying is, and the question I have for the council and for the fire and the police, if we do this, will we have another budget crisis this year and next year? Because I'll tell you right now, the way this fire contract looks, the renewed one, looks an awful lot like the one that was passed for the police department. And another question is this factored in as far as the budgeting for this year and the next year? Because it wasn't factored in when Mr. Bast and Mr. Perry and Ms. Cabell and Mrs. Graham and you, Jack, were on that council.
I wasn't on that council.
Well, 2000, when the police contract?
No.
So was it Jack and then Mr. Perry and Ms. Cavell and Evelyn Graham and the fifth member, who was it?
Chris Puza.
Who? Oh, Chris. Okay, well, he voted for it. Sorry, Keith. But that was voted on, and Jack and Mr. Perry voted no, and the rest voted yes, thus plunging this city into not one, but two consecutive budget crises. So what's to say that history won't repeat itself? That's all I'm saying. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bill Boran, B-O-R-A-N. I live at 319 West Green. You may recognize the mask. The mask is anonymous. Anonymous speaks for the people who don't have a voice. And I'm really surprised to see all these people in this chamber tonight. I was hoping the upper chamber would be packed. We are losing our power, Mr. Yanuzzi. We are losing our voice. We are losing control. Murders, armed robberies, stabbings, assaults on the street. You know it, Mr. Sosar. You live around 2nd Street. He knows what it's like. I ride up Alter Street a lot during the day, sometimes at night. And I'm tired of what I see. These people are tired of what they see. I had an occasion to attend the senior event at the Laurel Mall with my wife, with Ms. Toohill there. And she hears the same thing. We are tired of it. I was standing in front of City Hall with that mask on, holding up the sign. Enough is enough. We want our streets back, and we'll do anything to get it back. Kudos to Hazleton Fire. Kudos to the police department. Yes, they are stretched. Very, very much. Something has to be done between this city and the state, or should I say the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to try to get funds to get more police here. We need more vehicles. We need more men or women. Take your choice. Frankly, this city, this third-class city, is becoming a third-world country. Evidence, cans, bottles, that's not littering, that's pollution. Just throw anything you want on the street, your dirty diapers. I don't want to have it in my car. I'll just toss it on the street. That's below me to take it home and put it in my garbage. How sad. 58 years in this city, folks. I used to live on Alter Street when it was a thriving business community. You remember what it was like, Mr. Sosar. We had our own downtown. Now it's a dump. I see the drug deals. I hear about more things than you could believe. And in my neighborhood of, well, we'll say 20 houses in that surrounding 2 blocks, there are at least 15 people armed, including an 80-year-old woman. The women are packing heat. If you come into my house, you'll leave in a body bag. That's my message to the animals that are running around this city. They are not human beings. I tend to call them foreign nationals. Because if you and I went to another country, Mr. Sosar, and we became citizen, we'd still be foreign nationals, would we not? I believe we would be. So they are foreign nationals. And I will not say, you can't open a business. There are people that are working here that are trying hard to raise their families. That cause us no problems at all. But that element that crept in from Patterson and South Philadelphia and the Bronx, etc., is giving them a bad name. In turn, it's giving us a bad name. And we need to do something about it. Because someday somebody's going to walk into a store with their machete and their baseball bat, and they're going to get their head blown off. I'm not going to do it. I only take care of my own castle. I'm more concerned about the elevation of violence that could cause. Because people are just waltzing around going, oh, we know what time they open, we know what time they close. And now we're going to get them. Pensie's at 2:10 in the afternoon, Mr. Sosar? Are you kidding me? And nobody saw anything? Oh, no. Folks, this is not the Hazleton we remember. Oh, for the good old days, for the Berlitz's pizza and a farmer's iced tea. That sadly is gone. My message was simple, holding the sign, wearing this mask. Pay attention. Take a walk, take 5 minutes out of your busy day and walk around your neighborhood. Check on your neighbors. Say hello. Say hello to somebody you haven't said hello to in a while. And what really, really gets me about that is, you try to be friendly to people. Just walk past somebody that you may have met a while back going into the grocery store and say hi to them, and they do this. Okay? The blinders are on. We need to remove those blinders and pay attention. Everyone that's sitting in this room. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We need to get serious about this. This is Hazleton. This isn't some third world country like Ecuador or Brazil or whatever. This is Hazleton, Pennsylvania, United States of America. Let's get damn proud of it, or we're doomed. It may not be too late yet, ladies and gentlemen. Not yet. Thank you.
Norman Tarantino, 154 North Lee Court in Hazleton. First of all, we have a major motion being brought that's being proposed by the mayor. Where is the mayor today? It is awful that the council and the people have to be communicated of what's going on with the city through the newspapers. And I think that's probably the way the council first heard about the resolution to tax the people. And the fact is, as a property owner and being that I have a limited income, it's going to raise my equity if a tax is added. There are other ways to fund the police. There have got to be user fees that we could pass in the city and research. Anybody who's arrested should be charged a $100 or $120 fee for fingerprinting like they do in Schuylkill County. Those are the type of things that have to be implemented in the city to help fund the police department, but not on the backs of the taxpayers of this city. For the first time in my life, I was actually scared when I was coming back on my cart from Giant shopping Sunday evening. I carried my taser for the first time I ever carried it on me in this city because I was actually afraid that somebody would knock my cart over and take what little I had. And that was the first time that I was actually afraid being on the streets of this city. So I know something has to be done, but it has to be fair and equitable to all the citizens in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sylvia Thomas from Hazleton. It's hard to follow up after those four people, and they were all talking from their hearts. But as you hear that and you look at that empty table, your blood boils. That's uncalled for. That's why our town is falling apart. That's the main reason why it's falling apart. And I think that's the main reason we don't have our cameras on Alder Street, to keep it from getting worse. He's not here when we're discussing this important issue. He's not trying to work with you people. I'm calling for an Alder Street Area Crime Watch meeting on October 1st. It's on Wednesday. I'm going to write a letter to ACLU, and I'm going to make it as best as I can, and then I want people to sign it if those cameras aren't up by then. I also invited Chief DeAndrea to come to that meeting, and he's consented to come. And I'm inviting all of you to come. If we don't stick together, nothing is going to be done. If we don't stick and fight together, that table is going to stay empty for over another year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Officer Matt Coloni, Hazleton City Police. We come to work every day and do our jobs in the face of great adversity. All we are asking is to help us help you. The City of Hazleton is in dire need of additional police officers to properly police the community. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I am simply asking for help. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of this city to decide if they want more police. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it? Oh, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Officer Mario Howie of the Hazleton Police Department. The city of Hazleton is no longer the city it was 20 years ago. In today's changing climate and with the increase of violent crime, the police force is now critically understaffed and cannot properly police the community. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I am simply asking for help. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of Hazleton to decide if they want more police. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dave Roddick. I'm a detective for the City of Hazleton. As my fellow officers have said, it hurts us as police officers that we are lacking in resources to help the city be its best. Have no fear. We will continue to work and do our best. But my opinion and the opinion of other officers and much of the public that you've heard speak before me indicates that the City of Hazleton, and the feeling is that we'll never get better until we are able to hire more police. I ask City Council to allow the public safety referendum to be placed on the ballot and to allow the citizens of the City of Hazleton to decide if they want more police. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Officer Levine. I'm not asking for anything for myself. What I am asking is for help for the citizens of this community. I see on a daily basis that the limited number of police is causing a direct reflection on the amount of crime. The more crime, the more the criminals realize they can get away with it. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I am simply asking for help. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide if they want more police. It is the only thing that can fix a problem that currently exists. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Officer Kevin Wagner of the Hazleton City Police Department. We are faced with a serious problem today in the world of policing the city. That problem is the police are grossly understaffed and cannot properly combat the crime. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I'm simply asking for help. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the City of Hazleton to decide if they want more police. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Detective Lieutenant David Bunchuck with the Hazleton City Police Department. In the past 2 weeks, we have had 1 murder, 4 armed robberies, and 3 aggravated assaults. Crime has increased and the number of police has decreased. We cannot effectively perform our jobs and combat crime without help. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I ask the City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens and the city to decide if they want more police. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Officer George Schaefer, Hazleton City Police. We are not afraid of criminals. We are afraid that we cannot keep the people of Hazleton safe because we are so critically short-staffed. Have no fear. We will continue to come to work and do our best. But my opinion is Hazleton will never get better or safer without more police. I ask City Council to allow public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide if they want more police. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Officer Richard Hodnick of the Hazleton City Police Department. Remember in February of this year when you all thanked the Attorney General and Chief DeAndrea for doing such great work with combating crime? Well, the fact is simple. When we have more police, we can do more work, and when we do more work, crime decreases. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best, but my opinion is Hazleton will never get better or be safer without more police. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum to be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide if they want more police. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Corporal Joseph Babula with the Hazleton City Police Department. As you can see from newspapers and television, the crime rate in Hazleton and Pennsylvania is skyrocketing. Crime has increased, and the number of police has decreased. We cannot effectively perform our jobs and combat crime without help. Have no fear. I will continue to work and do my best. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide whether they want more police. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Officer White of the Hazleton City Police Department. What I ask is very simple. Help me help you. The level of crime and severity of crime has increased while the number of officers have decreased. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. But it's my opinion, Hazleton will never get better or become safer without more police. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum to be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens to decide if they want more police. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Corporal Gallagher with Hazleton City Police. As my fellow officers have said, we as a police department are grossly understaffed and cannot effectively combat crime. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best, but my opinion is Hazleton will never get better or safer without more police. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum to be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide if they want more police. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sergeant Mark Soul of the Hazleton City Police Department. The city of Hazleton is no longer the city it was 20 years ago. We come to work every day and do our job in the face of great adversity. All we're asking is to help us help you. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I'm simply asking for help. I ask the City Council to allow public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide what they want. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Officer Snap. Please understand I'm not afraid of work, but what I'm afraid of is the fact that I cannot keep you as safe as you deserve, at least safe enough to enjoy the quality of life you deserve. The single reason why I cannot keep you safe as you should be is I don't have enough to help to carry the ever-increasing workload. Have no fear. I will come to work and do my best, but my opinion is Hazleton will never be safer without more police. I ask City Council to allow a public referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide what they want. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hazleton City Council, friends, citizens of Hazleton, and fellow officers, my name is Officer Godola, badge number 173, the Hazleton City Police Department. As a department, we can only do so much with the resources that we have at our disposal. We are past our breaking point. Some of you see this every day on the street. Please help us help you. Assist us in assisting the city be a better place. Have no fear. I will continue to patrol this city, come to work, and do my best every day. I'm simply asking for your help at this time. I ask the City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide if they want more police. It is the only thing that can fix the problems that currently exist. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Detective Schoonmaker. The City of Hazleton is in dire need of additional police officers to properly police our community. Have no fear, I will continue to come to work and do my best. I am simply asking for help. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum to be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the City of Hazleton to decide if they want more police. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Detective LeBert. I work for the Hazleton City Police Department. I come to work every day knowing that I'm going to drown in the sea of paperwork and arrest. I do so willingly because I am sworn to protect you. Have no fear, I will continue to come to work and do my best, but my honest opinion is Hazleton will never get better or become safer without more police. I ask City Council to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide if they want more police. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Officer Mazer, badge number 143. It hurts every officer in HPD to come to work every day knowing that we do not have enough resources to fix the problem of rampant crime. Have no fear. I will continue to come to work and do my best. I am asking simply for your help. I ask City Council to allow the public safety referendum be placed on the ballot and allow the citizens of the city to decide whether they want more police. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant DeMelfi, Hazleton City Police Department, Commander of the Patrol Division. I oversee the daily operations of the Patrol Division, which is nearly 65% of the police department. I prepare the patrol schedule and attempt to adequately staff the shifts as well as provide critical time off for the members of this department. Currently, the staffing levels of HPD demand mandatory overtime on many occasions. This is due to making sure minimal staffing levels are always maintained. We cannot transport a prisoner to Wilkes-Barre without making sure there are enough police left on the streets to handle crime. This means that often a prisoner has to sit in a holding cell until after shift change, and then an officer will be held on overtime to do the transport. Linking this expense with the dangers that come from the mental and physical fatigue the officers are facing is dangerous for the health of the officers and the community. There is no current way to alter the schedule to allow for more officers on the road. The only way to increase the number of officers on the street, increase public safety, officer safety, and decrease overtime is to add more officers to the force. It is my personal and professional request that you please vote yes to allow a public safety referendum be placed on the ballot for this election. Thank you.
Mr. Monday, City Council, may I please have a round of applause for the officers of the Hazleton Police Department?
Okay, is that it for everybody to speak? Go ahead.
David Fatullo, 105 Mark Road, Hazleton, President, Local 507, Hazleton. I come before you to address Resolution 2014-103. Over the past few months, my negotiating committee, along with the mayor and city administrator, worked hard to come to a fair agreement. There was a lot of give and take on both sides, including a voluntary pay freeze for 2015 and a voluntary copay for our health insurance. We feel that it's a fair agreement on both sides, and we ask for your passing of this resolution so we can move forward with the city. Any questions? Thank you.
that it for, okay. We'll move on to old business, ordinances none, resolution 2014-100, an appointment to the Vacant Property Review Committee. It was tabled 9/9/2014.
Motion to remove it from the table. Present.
Second.
Roll call?
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Dave seconded.
Okay, thank you. Bast?
Yes.
Cassatt?
Yes.
Mope?
Yes.
Sosar?
Yes.
Mundy?
Yes. I think we'll...
You know what?
Go
ahead. You have to present first.
Oh, go ahead. Go. I'll present.
I'll present. I'll second that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, what I would like to do is to amend, if I could please, with the agreement of council, and substitute my name because of my interest in the vacant property review and the committees that deal with this within the city. I would ask, this is not self-serving, but if I could be replaced or replace the name of Jeff Cassett with my own name, and I'll make that motion right now.
I'll second it. On the amended motion, roll call?
Bast?
No.
Cassatt?
I don't know if I'm going to say no because I don't know if I could vote on it.
Mope?
Yes.
Sosar?
Yes.
Mundy?
Yes. It passes. Okay, next.
That's the amendment. You have to vote on.
Okay. That was the amendment. Now we'll vote on the actual. The actual ordinance. Okay. I'll present
I'll second.
on the
As amended?
resolution. Yeah, as amended on the resolution and on the question. Roll call.
Bast?
Yes.
Cassatt?
No.
Mope?
Yes.
Sosar?
Yes.
Mundy?
Yes. New business ordinances none. Resolution 2014-101, adopting the reduced amortization option according to Chapter 6 of the Municipal Pension Plan Funding Standard and Recovery Act 205 of 1984.
Present for discussion.
Second.
Okay.
On the question?
On the question.
According to the Synopsis Act of 44 of 2009, our score was updated or upgraded to level 2. So that only gives us 4 years to put off the payment. We already used 4 years, as I said before, so I don't believe we could put this off. And
In other words, you're saying that
Our time-
our 4-year time limit's up, and therefore we have to make a full payment, not a 75%.
that's my understanding. I haven't heard back from our solicitor.
Did you send them an email?
I
Jeff?
tried calling.
And I would suggest at this point, because of that situation,
Before we do it,
because
we
of the
just-
legality of it, because of the lack of information, and again, no one being here to be able to answer our questions, I'm going to move that we table this.
Can I just say one more thing before?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll hold back on it then. Go
The
ahead.
numbers you gave before, that this come out to 4.8 million. If we have to pay the 100%, it's an additional 1.6 million that we're going to have to pay in. Just, okay, now you can make the...
Okay.
Okay, we'll get some clarifications.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Dave, table it.
I
I'll
suggest that I
second
move
it.
that we table.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Bast?
Yes.
Cassatt?
Yes.
Mope?
Yes.
Sosar?
Yes.
Mundy?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2014-102, authorizing the Director of Administration to adjust records refund of 2014 city real estate taxes.
I'll present.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, this is more or less a bookkeeping type of, this has already been settled as far as I understand it, and we're adjusting it appropriately for the findings of the county?
Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
understand.
So it's a bookkeeping measure. Okay, thank you.
Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2014-103, approving the contract between the City of Hazleton and the International Association of Firefighters Union Local 507.
I'll present.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, one of the things, and I know that there are going to be a lot of blank stares, not blank stares, but probably angry stares at me for having said what I'm going to say now. But here's one of the situations again. And gentlemen, I applaud everything that you do. Please don't get me wrong. And I'm going to ask for more time, however. And the only reason I'm going to ask for more time for this to be looked at is, and I'm going to let people talk first. I'm not going to go to a table real quick. I would rather let people have their say. But one of the things that, again, is true is, once again, we've been handed a contract. No explanation, no figures, no anything. Are the figures outlandish? No, no. They're middle class income in any city, and I understand that. But there are questions that get raised in this, especially because of you have your staff, which have professionals to it, that you utilize in making decisions and negotiating. The city doesn't do that, and for that reason, it leaves council with questions that I think need to be answered before we can go through with this. I think we have some time. This is not going to go into effect, as I understand it, until next year, right? For that reason, I would suggest, and I'm going to hold off, but I'm going to say my piece first, that we look at this, that we discuss it. I don't know all the legalities of this. I'm not a lawyer, and unfortunately, we don't have one. To be able to talk with some of the people from the fire department about the contract and about some of the information, whether it be you, Mr. Fatula, or somebody else, I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's sitting here that has some questions. And you know what, I'd like to find out a little bit more about what goes on here. It's not that I'm voting no. I'm voting I don't know, and I'd like to find out. So if you will all please beg my indulgence on this, I'm going to stop here short of saying anything else, because we got it on Thursday and with nothing as background to this, and I'm kind of stumped right now. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm going to let everybody else have their say.
Go ahead, Jeff. You want to say something, or you have a comment?
I have a couple of things. Again, I was waiting for Chris to get back, because the case study law that I found is that you can't have a binding contract that would a contract that would bind your successor with a governmental function. So I don't believe a contract over 4 years is even legal. And then I have the question about the pension section, where it says no matter of age, and according to the third-class city code, it says a minimum of 50 years. So I need interpretation on those and a few other before I could.
Okay.
Chris, did he get back?
I haven't heard from Chris in 2 months.
Well, I'll let any other comments. Keith, do you want to make any comments about it?
Well,
or?
I mean, I see where this is headed, so I'll just wait. I'll wait until we bring this up again, I guess.
Jeannie, you want to make
I know
any
where it's going,
comments?
so.
Until we find some answers out, I guess.
Mr. Fadula, maybe you give us your email or contact numbers. Give us, what's your email?
All lowercase? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, I have no comments. I agree with Dr. Sosar. We just got it. We got no explanation of the changes to it, and we should have. I mean, that's not your fault. That's the mayor's fault, and and most of the blame goes to him for not providing us with maybe an explanation sheet of totally what's changed from the previous contract and the reasoning for some of the changes. But like I said, we have some issues maybe with our solicitor that we have to discuss whenever we can get a hold of them.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to suggest one last thing, and
Okay, go
I
ahead.
don't want the good people here to make it even seem as though you've become the whipping boy in a conflict between this group of people and the mayor. That is not what's happening here. What is happening is a lack of information to be able to make a conscious decision. It would be very nice just to turn around and simply approve everything that comes before us because the mayor said, this is good. But obviously, many of you have sat here in times past when we can't do that. And so I beg your indulgence to give us time to investigate and to talk with you. And I guarantee you we'll be talking with you, okay? As long as, once again, and I'm going to hedge that, it's legal. Okay? That's one of the things that when you get into these negotiations, I'm not really sure what kind of situation we get into.
Well, we'll
where we're
consult
at.
with Chris when we
Okay.
get a hold of him.
If we get a hold of them, and that's the problem. I mean, I send emails out just so you guys know, and I don't get replies.
You know, that's another reason for the mayor to be here, even to answer some questions with his negotiations and his reasoning. And Sylvia had it right. The mayor should be here. And the reason...
And the solicitor.
And the reason we're in a mess is the mayor, the solicitor, the city administrator not here. It's stupid. It's idiotic.
Well-
We're the only city probably in the whole state, maybe in the whole country, that doesn't have a solicitor, their mayor, or the city manager at their meetings. I know it. It has to be.
And-
We have to be the only one.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest at this point that we can go around in circles,
Yeah.
and we have. I would suggest at this point, I'm going to make the motion that we table this for no other reason but for further study.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call.
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Jeff seconded.
Bast,
No.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next on our agenda is Resolution 2014-104, entering into negotiations with Glenmead Trust Company, N.A. for investment management services of the City of Hazleton's pension assets.
I'll present.
Second. On the question?
I guess I got a couple here.
Go ahead. Did you get my email? I didn't send it out to 3 o'clock or 3:30.
Today?
Yeah. Did you get it?
No.
From Maria.
It was from the previous administrator.
Yes, I got that.
Well, I mean, she had some concerns. I mean, she's the previous administrator, but obviously she sent it to me, and I forwarded it to you guys. I forwarded it to Mayor and to Chris, and I haven't heard anything from them. So, go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff. You want.
I was just I had asked the mayor about this the whole process here, and I asked him when the meeting was, who was there, how many people replied, and if there's scoring sheets. I got today all the members that were supposed to be, yes, and 19. So I don't know if anybody, were you at that meeting?
I wasn't at the meeting when they picked the company and scored it. I guess I'm part of a super committee.
Yes.
I came to the meeting. I saw some of the scoring. The mayor had 19 proposals that he said he couldn't understand. I said, well, you could have called me and maybe I could have gone over some of them because I have a securities license. That's what I do.
Sure.
And I could have answered some of his questions, but I looked at the company that they picked. It's a top-notch company. I voted to forward it to us just based on that the company was, they manage hundreds of billions of dollars. They manage the Pew Family Trust from Sun Oil from over 50 or 60 years ago. But it's a top company, but still, there's some questions. You know, Maria
From
brought,
email,
brought up some things, of some legalities that I wanted Chris to just look at it, and if Chris would have said, you know, he was fine with it and we had no concerns, then maybe we could have voted on it. But I think because of that email, I would want, I mean, I don't know if there's a time restraint. I don't think there is. Who's here from the pension?
Yes,
Greg, could you get to the podium and maybe...
Greg Stieber,
Yeah.
Hazleton Fire Pension Fund, excuse me. To answer your question...
Yeah, maybe you could, whatever questions he has, maybe you can answer, Greg.
This was brought about a while back. I know, Jeff, you were privy to some of the information. This is the first time that I had the opportunity to go through an RFP process. We tried to do it the best that we could. I was in contact with our solicitor on how to start the process. The first time we did it, we understood
Greg, who is your solicitor, please? Excuse me.
Chris.
Oh, Chris was the solicitor.
He's not our solicitor for the pension plan, but we went through the
city, yeah,
for the city.
Okay.
And we had some problems with ASCO AFG, and Chris said, you got to do it all over again. So we put it back out on RFP. To answer your question, Mr. Mundy, there is time restrictions that were listed in the RFP process that were put out to everybody. We haven't done an RFP in over 16 years.
No, but I mean, there's no time restrictions that we have to do it today, or that's a problem? I mean...
No, I don't have a copy of the RFP in front of me, but there is a spreadsheet of dates. I believe October 8th comes up to mind that we have to let the person know to get the process started. And again, all this is the review committee reviewed the RFPs. And as far as I looked at the 19, believe me, I'm no lawyer, I'm no security expert, I'm just a representative from the pension plan, and they are very confusing, and we're trying to do the best that we can. This hasn't been done for 16 years. We were afraid with some of the bills, some of the charges, that we weren't getting the best bang for the buck. Some people higher up came to me and recommended maybe it should be put out on RFP. I did some review to find out that a lot of different municipal pension plans are put out on a 3 to 5 year bid process. Now, we started that process. We brought the state in that gave us a blanket sheet to write up the RFP, and we went to review them. When we started going through them, there was some questions we had, and everything that we had to do, somebody was coming back, and we wanted to do it the legal way. So we wrote up 13 questions out of the RFP process and just had them plain answers, give them to us. So we didn't have to sit.
I sent them to all the council. Did you all get those questions?
Some RFPs came with 20 pages.
I didn't send you the booklet or what they, because it's big.
So in the middle of the process, a review board was picked. One person from the fire pension plan, one person from police plan, one person from the non-uniformed, and one person from the highway. Non-uniform is the city hall workers, and the mayor. We went back, and I explained to Chris, how do we get the review board? And he said, just go back to the super board. Well, what a time we had, both myself and Police Chief DeAndrea, going through ordinances to find where, when, and how the super board was changed in the legalities. So the latest ordinance that we found specifies one member of the fire pension, the fire chief, the police chief, the police union, a representative from non-uniformed, and a representative from City Hall, and one member of council. Okay? We had a lot of time invested in going over these RFPs, and we thought, we'll just have the board, which was 5 people, the mayor and the 4 unions, and all we did was review this and put a percentage and scoring process together. This is what we came up with. We met at a meeting. We met with Jack, put it on the table, said, this is who we picked. It's not etched in stone. We just came to council to present it to move on forward. There is no contract, but we need to go into negotiations to talk.
I just want to make sure you all had your input.
But, okay,
Last time
getting
it was-
back, Greg, is the
Yes.
October 8th, is that a deadline?
I wish I had a copy of the RFP here. I can get back to you tomorrow with that answer.
Because maybe we'd have to have a special meeting. Chief, you could come
You have-
in,
you
yeah,
have
can
a
you help?
copy of
You
the
give me 30 seconds, I have it in my office.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, look, because if we,
So we know where we're going here.
Sure.
and if Chris was here, he may be able to answer that question in a minute. But that's to give the current holder now of the pension, the current manager, to give them time. Or
Yeah, I
there's
guess there's going to be a time process, yes, for the.
Well, we got a letter, an email. I sent it to everyone about the process, and the previous, the current holder had some issues with what was done. So I sent it to Chris as soon as I could.
What we needed was a legal opinion from Chris.
Yes. The timetable of events and closing dates, and I could provide, I had a copy
you
of
can read it.
It says distribution of successful application summary and disclosure forms to non-selected applicants must be done within 10 days of the award. The closing date is the 8th of October.
Okay, so, yeah, but was that, okay, you already named, okay, is that saying, you already named
Correct.
the winner, so you
Right.
already did that?
Right. To you.
All we're doing is approving the negotiations of a contract to be made.
Correct. Correct. That we can bring a contract back to you from them. That's satisfactory with all the union representation and unions.
And what was her problem, that the process was flawed?
Well, she had some issues with some things, requirements, but I thought it best that Chris look at them, definitely. But unless, when's our next meeting, Lisa?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think it's the first Tuesday in October.
So that's,
No,
okay.
it's the week before October 13th. I know that.
October 7th.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
October 7th.
So, okay, we have an October 7th meeting, so if we have an October 7th meeting, we could do it at that meeting. So we still have time, and we don't have to do a special meeting. Go ahead, Chief.
Right.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
As Greg was explaining, through this entire process, Chapter 45 of the City Code spells out the pensions and spelled out how we were selecting who's supposed to be on the review committee or not, not even recognizing that the unions actually elect a person to sit on that committee for 3 years at a time. When we developed the RFP, the scoring matrix was already in the RFP. So what we did before we ever opened the 19 contracts that came in was we came up with a scoring criteria, which was our list of questions that we felt met each category, and each category was already given a weight. So we knew the questions that we were going to score their RFP on prior to looking at their RFPs. We decided the matrix. We then opened them. In reviewing them, because there was no set parameter in the RFP as far as what each of the 19 vendors had to submit as page 1 and tab A and enclosure C, we had 19 different things. To make it easier, we sent them the list of 13 questions, which in the RFP tells every vendor the city has all the right in the world to ask additional questions, and they have to answer them. Based on their answers, they were scored with the matrix that we already had in existence. That score allowed us then, out of the 19, 4 of them scored in the top 80%. Those 4 advanced to the interview phase. The interview phase used the same exact scoring criteria, and we set up another matrix of questions we were going to ask and how we were going to score them before they came in. They were then scored based on that matrix, which they were already told in advance. Each time we came up with a list of questions and or had any questions from any vendors, they were always forwarded to the solicitor for his review and or input to include the process and the awarding of this. And in every time, he was in total agreement with the process. The system is not flawed. And naturally, if any of the 19 vendors had any concerns, they could certainly air them through the normal RFP grievance type of procedure. But so we're here before you today because we would like to enter into negotiation with who came out to be number 1. And in respect for council and according to Chapter 45, we need council's approval before we could enter into negotiating a contract. What this is supposed to do today is have everybody understand the process that the review board and the super board went through. The review board came in front of the super board, which you were there that day, as the member of city. It has to be the president of city council. It can't just be any city council member. And the review committee, interview committee, presented its findings to the super board. The super board then either votes, yes, we agree with the review committee, or we don't, of which the super board agreed with the review committee's findings, which is then what brings it in front of city council. It's here today to explain to you this is how we made this selection, and we would like your authorization to now enter into contract negotiations. Once that contract is done being negotiated, it will again come in front of city council because as a requirement, you have to approve a contract before it could be awarded. So all this is the technicality of saying, this is our winner, we'd like to enter into contract negotiations, and when we're finished with that, we'll be back in front of you. But we can't even contact any of these 19 and say, this is who is number 1 without running it past city council and having your understanding and approval.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But Greg, what you're saying, though, we have to the 8th.
Right.
So the 7th would be fine.
What, could I say something?
Go ahead, go ahead.
And with all due respect, Chris got back to you and told you that the process that you did was fine and everything. We had a problem with the first time around, all right? What we wanted to make sure was that there wasn't a problem the second time around and end up in litigation. But we didn't get anything back from Chris. He contacted you. As a council, we need to hear from Chris. Understand? So, I mean, maybe you have an influence, but tell him to get back to us a little bit.
Okay, we'll look into that so it can keep the process moving.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, did you...
Motion table.
So we'll table to the 7th, and then we'll make a decision. Okay, you made a motion
We'll
to
make
table?
a motion to table it.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Bast,
No.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2014-105, a resolution authorizing a police protection tax referendum.
I'll present.
Second? On the question?
On the question, one of my problems was and I think everybody's been asking this question, it's been in the news, it's been everywhere. And the problem that arises, I'm sorry. The problem that arises with all of this is I don't think that there's a person in this town that doesn't believe that we need more police. I live on 2nd Street in Alter. I live 30 feet off of it. I see most of you on a regular basis. I have you on my speed dial. I haven't even dialed 911. I put you on speed dial because of the number of times that I've called you. I know most of you by first name, and some of you I've even taught. I want you to understand that I am, first and foremost, I do appreciate the idea of you saying, let us help you. And I would turn that right around and saying, let us help you help us. One of the problems that I saw, and I'll be honest with you, I went down to the Bureau of Election today. And I know some of my other council members have inquired as well. And while I did not get the director of elections today, she was busy with her programming, I guess, for the upcoming election. I did get word from one of the women at the desk who told me it's too late to be put on the ballot right now. It's too late.
For the November.
For the November election.
Yeah.
And yet I want you to know that I'm wholeheartedly ready to accept and put it on a ballot, but it may end up, I want you to understand, that voting yes for this, it may end up being on the May ballot instead. Now, what that does, and again, you know what, you guys are taxed to the limit. I see the stuff as well as many of the people that have spoken today. I see it on a regular basis. I'm not blind. I'm little, I'm not blind. Okay? I see it too. I know what you guys go through. Lord knows I would not want to be the person at nighttime or even in the daytime who gets the phone call, man with a gun. And I know that you guys get those. But here's the problem that I see. There are a lot of questions. There are a lot of things that are going to come up. There was the article that was in the newspaper, if you will remember, last Wednesday. Before that ink was dry, I would think, come Wednesday morning that the papers got delivered, Mr. Galsky was on his phone calling many of us on City Council, and I think I speak fairly well. And Jeannie, I'll let you speak for yourself eventually. But eventually, that's the way I am. But one of the things that there were a multitude of questions in there, a multitude of questions, from Mr. Bast to Mr. Cassett to myself to Jack. Some we got an answer to, barely, I would suggest, but we got a couple answers, but not nearly enough. I am wholeheartedly, and I think that there are a number of people that are suggesting that we need more police. Let us work with you. Let us sit down. Let us talk about what we can do together. Let's find out a means of coming up with the funds. Let's find out how many police we could realistically talk about. Let's talk about this in an intelligent manner. The chief is shaking his head back there. I know that you want 10 men. But the fact of the matter is, I saw numbers today. You know what? I would like to see you have a police officer on every corner. Okay? It goes without saying. And even then, in the middle of the block where I live, we'll be unprotected yet. Okay? We all know that. I want to do something realistic here that is to help you. I want to do something that realistically helps the citizens of Hazleton. I want something that will work. I want something that will be financially capable of being handled by the residents of this city, and that's it. And yet, I can tell you right now that this referendum is not going to make the November election. It's going to be May. But if you would like, I will wholeheartedly vote in favor of the one come May. We would like. Okay? Okay, and that's the best we can do.
It's actually, if I may, my
Go ahead.
understanding.
You could talk.
It's my understanding, depending on who you talk to in the election committee, that we are right on time to get this on the ballot. And so the only people who could tell us we're late is actually the election committee, but we can't get it in front of them until City Council says, yes, allow it to occur. So that's why I believe every member in this department and everybody who spoke recognizes all I think that we're asking is to allow a referendum to allow the public to say, we can't afford this, we need a different idea, or yes, we definitely want it. But the first step is for city council to say, put it out there and let the election committee say, you're too late or you're just in time.
I have a
Well,
question.
go ahead.
Is it just with the resolution, or do we also have to pass an ordinance before it gets in front of the election committee?
No, the resolution. The election committee is kind, and the governor's office puts out a referendum suggestion. You can go online and look it up. As a matter of fact, after the newspaper article, I read it, which is extremely confusing, but that's what leads my understanding of we can get permission from city council to do the referendum. The referendum then has to be written to go in front of the election committee, who could strike it and say, you didn't write it properly, you need to change the wording. But it's up to the election committee to approve or disapprove the wording. They're the final say.
This wording is terrible.
I don't know who wrote it.
This wording is terrible.
I didn't write it.
Let me tell you right now, if this goes to the election board, this is not going to get approved.
Well, and then my suggestion would be if we think that we should reword it, we reword it. But it would be my humble personal and professional request that we at least allow the citizens to say, we could never afford this, or we'll figure out a way to do it. But we can't do anything until we get past here and get it in front of the electoral, That's where we're at today.
Any other questions?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, you have a question?
Well, I called the day it came out on the 16th, and I called the Election Bureau, and I talked to the head, and she said she was in the process right now of certifying it. They were putting it off one day to the 17th because the one municipality was missing. I called back today, and they said it's certified. I said, is there any way we can get a question on the ballot? And she said no. She said, there's no way you can get anything on for this November. Last week, she went on to explain, go to the governor's site. She went through it all. And she said one of the problems is that there's nothing in the referendum handbook that deals with police.
Right.
There's a lot that deals with fire. So they said there's no way that they'll put anything on dealing with the police department for this election.
Well, okay.
There's only two ways that you can put a referendum question on. And the easiest way is to have the governing body vote to put the referendum question on. Non-binding, but put the referendum question on. If there would have been time that the mayor would have come to council and presented this, again, and it sounds like sour grapes. Please understand, I don't mean to be making it sound this way, but when we read about this in the newspaper, that's how we found out about this.
Understand.
Okay? Now,
what
having
prompted
said that,
though, Doctor, is very simple. A corporal in the state police, Brian Dixon, was assassinated. He was slain. So the final straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak, is that a cop once again got shot, which then raises the question of what can we do to keep these men and women safer, to keep the public safer. Unfortunately for the city of Hazleton, the last time hiring additional cops occurred was after November 29th, 2006, when two of my officers were shot. One of them is in this room right now.
Right.
And then the public was outraged again. If you'll shoot cops, what will you do the rest of us?
Right.
And so we hired 10 more cops. It's unfortunate that in our own world, it takes a cop getting shot for us to read the paper the next morning and say, my God, what is going on? So this dropped in everyone's lap after Corporal Dixon was shot. And that's how it came to
Chief,
the point where the mayor's saying, what can we do?
I can appreciate that, Chief, but one of the things that ends up happening again, and I want you to be really understand where we're all coming from. I don't think that anybody here, we all pray for Officer Dixon and honor him in his work that he did, and also the young man, I believe his name is Douglas, if I'm not mistaken, who is still very seriously wounded in the hospital. I don't think that this has anything. I shouldn't say that has anything to do with that. We feel bad, and I know that the police here are stretched, but you know what? This has been an ongoing argument. I've heard Sylvia talk about the need for police. I've heard every Crime Watch in this town. I spoke to Crime Watch people around this city within this last week who have now been telling me from different arguments, yes, we need whatever it takes. If it's $89 a year extra per taxes, do it. I've also heard, as you've heard tonight, other people say, we've got to find different ways of being able to do this that are affordable. I don't want to come across as negative, because I'm going to be voting in favor of this tonight, that we put it on. But I want you to understand as well that when we take a look at this, that that we've got to look at it realistically. I think we need to sit down with you. I think we need to sit down with our police force.
I can't argue with you.
I think we need to take a look realistically and say, what is it that we can do, and how is it that we're going to achieve the goals that we need to do, and that's make Hazleton a better place. When you take a look at dollar figures and you take a look at some of these things that are going on, they're tough. And you know, again, am I taking a shot at the police force? Absolutely not. Those are middle-class incomes, pure and simple. Now, I will say one thing, that when you're talking about Hazleton and having gotten back, and I in no way, shape, or form want to compare the two, because I didn't go on out every day and risk my life. But as a teacher in the town of Hazleton for years, the only ever thing that I ever heard was you're overpaid, you're overpaid. You're no good. Our kids aren't learning, you're overpaid. And one of the things that ends up happening as well is when you have people that are earning such low sums of money as we have, one of the things that ends up happening is people get upset. They're going to turn around and say, oh my God, these are high salaries. No, they're not. I would not want to put my life on the line for what these gentlemen and lady do. I really don't. In no way, shape, or form would I ever minimize that. But we do have to talk about, in some manner, shape, or form, how do we do this? And I think that's what we're concerned about. How do we do it?
Okay, Doctor, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, my thing, if the mayor's serious about adding the $1 million, I mean, he should have a bunch of like open house public meetings and get a consensus from the people. I mean, the time frame, the budget comes out November 1st, the election is November 4th. If the public comes out and says, we want this, let them add $1 million to the line item. It's the same tax. It's the same $1 million. I think he should show up in front of the public.
Jeannie, you done, Jeff? Jeannie, you want to make a comment?
I guess.
Right now, I'm in a total state of confusion. We need more police, and I sympathize with you. You do a great job. You go out daily. Chief, if it was up to you, we'd have a cop on every block. I know that, okay? I sympathize with the taxpayers. I believe what he said was a good idea, to have open referendum with the people so that they could talk and put their input in, maybe have discussions with the police department. We have until May.
Right.
This has to go in front of the board now for a vote, is what you're saying, at the election board?
Okay, it's not, okay, you're getting, let me just say something about the referendum. Okay, you're getting your information from the head of it. I mean, it still maybe has to go for a board. I don't know if the governor has input there or if Joe has any pull with the governor, but that's another thing. So it hasn't been decided whether it's going to be now or May.
Right.
And no matter what the head of the place says, it's not etched in stone because it has to go to the committee. Right, Chief?
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so it has to go to a committee. So you're getting answers from whoever the head of it is, because, like I said, there's stuff that should have been done at that election that hasn't been done for things. There should be fines to some people who filed their petitions late and they haven't done that. So I wouldn't go so much by the head of the organization.
Just saying what I got from the phone calls
what you got
that
from
I
the
got.
head. So it's not etched in stone whether it's going to be this or May.
Right.
But
Well, you need to do something.
But you
about
need
what
to
I'm
do
saying.
it, yeah.
You need to do something in order for them
Yeah.
to look at it, to decide if it's
Right.
going to go on.
And again, the people.
the other point I
if
want
it
to make
makes
to the people is, this is not a binding referendum. We could, if it's 49 to 51, then we have to make maybe a decision either way. If it's 70 to 30, maybe that makes our mind up. But if it's going to be a 51-49, we have a decision to make. And whatever they decide, we're going to decide anyway as far as what the millage is going to be and what it's going to be used for. I know
You're right.
we got some information.
As well as the fact is that when it comes to the verbiage of how this is going to be funded, it still has to come back in front of you to be approved, to say, yes, when we do collect this tax, this is the only thing it goes
maybe
for.
it's not going to be 10. Maybe it's going to be 6 or 7
Right.
or 8 or 9.
And at the end of the day, this might all be for naught, because we might find that there's an outpouring of the community that comes out and says, no way. And then it's over. All I believe every man and woman in this department is saying is, can we please just let the public weigh in? Because there's nothing more we can do except come to work every day and do our job as we promise we will be here, with or without more help. But we would like the public to weigh in, because we're to the point where it's like we want to make you more safe, increase your quality of life, and we can't really do it. You know, my analogy is very simple. When you're sick and a doctor says to you, we could make you better, but your insurance is not going to pay for the medicine. You have a simple choice. Do you pay for the medicine out of your own pocket, or do you remain ill? That seems to me where we're at. We can't make it any better without additional help. How we get that help, I think, is up to the public. And if we don't get that help, we're still going to be here tomorrow doing everything we can to keep everybody as safe as possible.
And that's understandable. I mean, we know where you're coming from.
Okay,
Right.
Keith, you want to make
Thank
a
you.
comment?
Yeah, I mean, I know that we need more police, and we need more than 10 police. And I think that this is something that's good to put on the ballot, because the people get to decide. They get to at least give their input. We don't have enough room to have, or enough time for everyone who's going to vote to come and voice their opinion at some kind of town hall meeting. But on election day, they can go, they can vote, they can let their wishes be known, and then it comes back. This has nothing to do with any money right now. The questions and how everything is going to be written comes afterwards.
Every one of you.
This is just letting everyone voice their opinion at one time, if they want it or if they don't. And if they do by an overwhelming margin, we know that we need to go forward with it. I mean, I think that it's good to put on the ballot.
I think it's important for me to say publicly that there's never been any one of you that has ever come to me and said, I'm against more police. I know we've all had individual conversations where we've all said the same thing. And this is just one more way for us to possibly pose to the public, hey, this is an idea. Do you want it? Don't you want it? If they say yes, we look at it. If they say no, we're back at the table trying to come up with another way. I think we're all in agreement that we've got to come up with something. I appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Keith.
Counsel.
Okay. Any other comments?
No, other than the fact that I still would like the public to have input with the police department and try to work together, and maybe we can come up with a way to accommodate the payments of how this is going to get done, if it gets passed. All right? Thank you.
Okay.
If we vote on this, if this could only be on this election, or is this going to carry
No,
on to
this,
May?
I
Or do
think
we have to bring it
saying
back up
it's-
again?
It's going to, huh?
Or do we have
Carries
to bring
over
it?
to
Yeah, I think it's
next,
authorizing.
next nearest
Yeah,
election.
to either this one or the next one, so I don't think it would matter. On the question, roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Okay, that's it for our resolutions. Comments from the audience?
Norman Tarantino again. I have a question I was asked to present to City Council when I talked with L.A. Tyrone on his show before he went on vacation. He wanted to know who in the city gave the idea that there should be no ride-on reds on any of the intersections on Broad Street, because he talked to people at PennDOT, and the people at PennDOT said that came from the city, that the city removed all the ride-on reds on Broad Street. So we'd like to know what's the story on that, and will those ride-on reds be returned,
I
and
was
who in
on
the city made
Poplar
that
Street
decision?
today, and I sat there for a couple minutes to no traffic, and I couldn't make a right.
Maybe Chief DeAndrea could.
Chief, do you have a comment on that, or could you? It's a right on red.
There's no right-hand turns on red. Since the Broad Street corridor's been opened up, they took out all the right-hand turns on red lights.
Yeah, apparently.
Go ahead.
And I had the same question, not understanding why now there is no intersection that you can turn right on red. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
PennDOT did the engineering study, and they're the ones who have deemed that those intersections with the type of crosswalks are not allowed to have it. I've requested 3 separate times through the city engineer, who is Alfred Benish, Dominic, that he get back in touch with PennDOT and find out why at least some of the intersections cannot go back to allowing us to turn right on red.
The one on Poplar Street makes sense to have a right. I mean, I'm
Right.
sitting
Some
there.
of them
nobody-
do,
there's
some
no
of them
traffic.
don't.
It makes
Because it was
sense.
PennDOT's engineers that decided this to begin with, it's taking a letter from the city to say, can we sit back down and talk about these? But it is under review right now.
What LA
Yeah, that-
said that the PennDOT people told him that it came from the city, that it wasn't PennDOT's decision, it was the city's decision. That's what PennDOT is saying on the record.
Right,
Yeah.
and we're working on that right now because as the police who have to monitor a traffic queue, we can't understand why they back up at some of the intersections, so we are looking into it.
Thank you very much.
Because it is a problem.
Yes, one of the things I wanted to bring up today, bring up my right notes up here, but I just want to say that the most amazing was that, and I'm probably going to become a persona non grata in the city for saying this, but we need to have the mayor here. That, as I said earlier, this resolution should have had mayor input from the mayor. You should have been able to have known, had your questions answered for the contracts before they were given, and it's a
I agree with you
insult to the city.
100%. If he cared about the city, he should be there to answer questions, and I don't understand it. I'm dumbfounded.
I don't know how you can run a city and have a meeting with no solicitor, no mayor here,
And
no executive
administrator. Yeah,
administration.
It's a nightmare.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead, Sylvia. You can go. Go ahead, Sylvia.
Mr. Soser, what can we do and how can we do it to get rid of that invisible man who should be sitting there? And please don't tell me there's nothing we can do. We
I
have
wish I
rights
could
somewhere
give
along
you
the
an
line.
answer.
Pardon?
I wish I could give you an answer.
sounds like
Unless you can find something that would be criminal, and
just
you may even be
go
close
around
to
the
that, but
streets,
unless you can
that's
find
criminal.
something criminal, there's not a lot you can do.
But what
There's
about
no
what
one
he
more
said to
frustrated.
all the street crime was, if you put cameras there, it's going to chase it, which you people said too, but you backed down, thank
Right.
God. But he said it and he meant it. That's discrimination against us.
Yes.
That's saying we have to put up with the criminals, the rest of the people in other areas don't have to. Now that's got to be some sort of charge we couldn't have against them.
I wish, and what it would take right now, I'll be honest with you, I think what needs to be done is that people need to start filing reports with the district attorney, see if that does any good. And in fact, I would even suggest that you probably start contacting the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Scranton.
Well, I'm still going to write to the ACLU. I've been criticized. Some people
Right.
think that the ACLU
And I
is
understand where you're going.
black people and for the Hispanics, and that's not true.
I
They're
understand.
founded
Right.
to protect our rights.
Yeah,
So I'm going to try them first.
Right.
But I'm not giving up on this.
I don't think you should.
I'm not. I'm not going to wait until an innocent child is shot.
Okay.
My name's Greg Bellatier. I live in the city of Hazleton. I'm paying taxes on my property since 1979. And I've got 103 feet of property that's fenced in and a small ranch home, 33 feet wide. I received 2 stormwater bills for $25 each. Is there any way I could appeal this tax that I got
You
sent
have two
in the
separate
mail?
deeds on your property, sir.
Well, back in '86, my homestead is right adjacent to my property. My sister was going to sell her property. I asked her to give me a piece of her property so I have a larger portion
So
of
you have
property.
two separate deeds.
I have.
That's why you got the letter, although I've disagreed
Is there a
with
way
this,
that I could
And I
appeal?
voted, and there's people here who voted against it. There's only one person who was on council here that voted for it, but
I mean, is there someone I could talk to? I have a letter here I wrote. I agreed to pay.
there should have been in the bill that was passed. There should have been things in there that allow you appeal process, a process, and I don't know if it was missing from that. I voted against it, and so did Jeannie. Again, I was totally against it on principle, but there should have been some protections in there for your appeal rights, but the mayor's, I guess, ignoring them. I don't know, him and Dominic, his cousin, are ignoring the process, and they're not being fair to people, I think. Yeah, I it's not fair. Maybe Keith, you want to help us out on it, or just to help some of these people. I mean, you voted for the ordinance.
I mean, there's nothing we can do with it now. I mean, and you could have repealed it before it went into effect.
Well, the bills already went out, so
right.
That's,
well, I mean, you had 7 months before the bills went out that you could have repealed it, and you didn't. Right now, sir, I don't know if there's. I mean, I think that you can write to the city administrator.
I have two papers here. I agree to pay $25 on the property that I live in. The whole property is fenced in with one fence around the whole perimeter. I understand I have 2 deeds, but on 103 feet, there's no way I'm going to pay $50.
Yeah,
when
I mean,
my
I don't know your
owns
specific situation. And
160 or 200 deep by the same width, and their bill is $30. So, I mean, it doesn't make any...
I've not seen, and we went through this at the last meeting as well, but I've not seen any kind of fees, fines, or punishments that are part of that resolution. I saw a $25 minimum charge on that, and that was it. So I can't tell you not to pay it or to violate the law, but I'm not going to vote in favor of anything that brings out a punishment on anybody on this.
But is there someone that I could send this letter to?
I would try Chris Lesser, the attorney for the city, and tell him, explain your situation, and tell him that you would like to have an appeal and you would like to have this rectified. Okay?
So I should send this to...
Christopher Slesser.
Okay, thank you.
That process might very well be worth sending off to people within government higher up as well, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thanks very much. Just a final comment. I could do the Clint Eastwood thing with a vacant chair, but I won't. Instead, we need to have a man who will do this. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, as your mayor, I'm here to extend my hand to try to work with you to solve the problems, whether it be in pension issues, whether it be on police issues. I am here for abandoning all other projects that are consuming the money from state grants and taxes. I am repealing all the taxes that were put onto the people of this city. I believe they're tired of it. I, for one, will not stand for it anymore. And neither will they. So I'm extending my hand to you to try to work with you to try to get some of these problems solved. This is the city of Hazleton. This is not Chicago. This is not Philadelphia. This is not New York. We're a third-class city. I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to be at the meetings. Now, wow, stunned silence.
That's a good
bet,
idea.
Bet you've never seen that before, have you?
Maybe you should see the mayor and suggest that to him.
Yeah, because believe it or not, the needs of the many do outweigh the needs of the few, or the one, or anybody. This city outweighs the needs of the few. Just take a guess what I'm talking about, whatever projects I might be talking about. I'm for you. I'm for all of you. I'm for all of you. That's why I took that mask and that sign out there.
Okay.
It's not about me, Mr. Mundy.
Okay.
It's about you. I sure as heck hope. I wish he was in his office listening to this, because We need somebody who's going to be here, whether or not you have a administrator or a solicitor. You need to have a man who will at least grow a pair and show up.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think we're all tired of this nonsense. This was not a dog and pony show. This is the real deal. And no, I'm not going to run because I'm not qualified to run. I'm too old. But I sure as hell hope there's somebody sitting somewhere who is and who's willing to make the commitment and to reach out to you people instead of bickering back. Hey, I was here for you remember the chicken house thing? Dr. Sosar remembers it. He got up, took his marbles, and walked out of the room before the public comment section. I was going to go, excuse me, Mr. Yanuzzi, would you like to come back to your seat so you could hear this? Don't run to your office and hide and point at these people. They're trying to work with you. It's not a one-man show. I think we need to settle the issue somehow. So, keep coming to meetings, keep the pressure on people. That's all I can say. You guys are doing the best job you can without this man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's that?
Okay, John. Shh. Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Thank you very much.
Time.
Go ahead, Mark.
For the referendum, now, I was passionate about it, earlier this evening, but if the gentleman who, sat there for mayor, maybe I could sit there for solicitor or stand here as solicitor for maybe a second and tell you about state law regarding referendums. Because according to the state, as the chief was referring to about, there is information about referendums regarding how to, with procedural matters on referendums. And this is, I'll read you a section of it. You might find interesting. However, the power of initiative and referendum in cities is severely limited. Signature requirements are restrictive. Petitions must be signed in the city clerk's office within 10 days by registered voters equal to the 20% of the last total vote for mayor. It would require a great deal of organization and a sense of high urgency to get that many people to the clerk's office with the brief time period allotted. The second limitation is the long list of exceptions from the initiative and referendum power. These exclude such areas as tax levies, appropriations, eminent domain, ordinances related to the exercise of police powers of the city to preserve public peace, health, morals, and safety, construction of sewers and keeping the streets in passable condition, or any ordinance required by state law or in a state agency. One commentator reflected, assuredly nothing of great importance remains for the people to legislate upon the third-class cities. Because of these limitations, very few referenda have occurred in third-class cities under these provisions over the years. These sections of the third-class city code appear to have been more productive of lawsuits than votes. Courts have leaned towards including issues with the list of restrictions. Judicial attitudes towards initiative and referendum have been generally chilly. Only 3 questions, 3, have been placed on the ballot in third-class cities in recent years using the initiative and referendum procedures of the code. In 1971, Erie voters overturned an ordinance providing for the sale of the city water system to an authority. In 1976, Altoona voters overturned an ordinance granting a cable TV franchise. And in 1990, Harrisburg voters used the initiative process to reverse a previously adopted ordinance by council renaming a street. So it's out there. This is, I'm reading from the state publication from DCED regarding referendum, and this is, it's called the Referendum Handbook. So I think before, the mayor or you guys should consider this, you might want to find out state laws from the solicitor, and if not, then maybe you might want to ask me.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Everybody wants to come to the taxpayer, property owner for funds. It seems like we're the easy guy to get to. Chief DeAndrea did make a statement saying, well, if they vote down, we're going to have to look at other avenues. Why are we not looking at other avenues now? This is today's paper. I went online today. There's close to 500 homes for sale. Most of them are less value than what the property owner bought them for or thought that they were worth, which means when they get sold, the taxes will be less, which means that our city's going to be in trouble. I have talked to people who have homes and they owe more than the house is worth. They don't want to stay here anymore. You know what their answer is? I'll pick up, I'll leave, I'll let the bank deal with it, which means the bank's going to sell it for less, which means we're going to get less taxes on that property, or the property's going to stay abandoned, and then we have problems. I want more police, I do, but we got to look at other avenues. We can't tax old people out of their homes. We can't tax people who are making, as you guys said, they're making middle-class salaries. Most of the people in this town aren't. They make a salary around $24,000 to $25,000. They work for wages that are $11 an hour or less in these factories. I worked at Amazon. They cap you at $15. That's it. You don't make any more. You can bust your ass all you want, but you're not going to make any more money. This is what we have a problem with. And we have no industry in Hazleton. Hazleton's landlocked. We know that. That's why I said we have to reach out and find different ways. Talk to the state. We can't keep relying on us because you know what? People will throw up their hands and say, I'll sell my house at any price and get the hell out of here because I don't want to deal with this crap. I told my mom, if it doesn't change, if something happens to her, her house gets sold, my house gets a sign put in front, and I'm leaving. Montana's looking good. And I know that sounds like crazy, but, you know, this is crap. We've got heroin addicts, we've got garbage in the street. You know, I don't want to go after the big fish. Get rid of the source, and you'll get rid of the problem. That's what everybody says. Oh, get the big dealers. No, get rid of the people who want it. But it's like a revolving door up at the jailhouse. Somebody gets... My friend's nephew got busted, heroin addict, stole a phone. He spent 24 hours up at the county jail and they left him out. It's ridiculous. Laws got to be changed, but like I said, you can't keep taxing us. You can't keep going after us because you're going to have a ghost town. 500 homes. When I was looking for a home 14 years ago, I was lucky I could get 20 to look at. Our town's going to go broke. We're going to go broke because of salaries, pensions, and the fact that we're over getting taxed. So we've got to find another way. We've got to find another route. Because if everybody assessed their house right now, this city would be in big trouble. If I went and said, I want to know what my house is worth so I could pay less taxes, because that's what's happening. So think hard. We've got to find other avenues. I commend the cops for what they're doing. The police officers in this town, yes, they are overworked and they do a good job for what they can do. But there's got to be another way. We can't keep saying, you know, hit the well up, because the well's dry. And you guys all know it. Thank you.
I have some questions. And are you gentlemen here? Yes, they are here. Good. Officer Pabula, if I'm saying that right, I don't know. You made a statement that our police is decreasing. Why are they decreasing? We have the money budgeted for the original number that was there before. Why are we decreasing? They haven't been replaced after they retire. Okay, you haven't. Well, you just hired a couple people. What number are you at? 38. And what were you at last year?
In January 2007, we were at 40.
Well, I know when Michael left, there was a 42, at 40. But I'm saying.
So that's where it's decreased.
So you're decreasing by 3 officers.
In the last 7 years.
And that's actually 2, because you have to count you too, because your salary's there.
Right.
Okay. How many officers live in Hazleton? Live in Hazleton. Live in Hazleton proper. I think council should look at putting it in the contract that they live in the city. You know, more and more police forces are doing that. You know, you want the tax dollars, move in. Live here. When you take the car home, the cruiser's sitting there and they're, wait a minute, there's a cop around here. We got to think twice about what we're going to do in this area. Then everybody tries, but now will the Hazleton Police Department consider opening up their contract? Because they have what? How many more years to go? 3? I guess we're on into the 3 more years. Would they consider opening it up? And if you put a number at, say, 38 police officers full-time, would they consider some part-time? Everybody, they're going to come to work, fine, I understand that. But everybody has to give. And would they consider doing that? Would you gentlemen consider opening your contract?
That's something that's a contract thing. So I don't think
That's
the chief
contract.
could answer that.
I didn't ask the
We
chief.
won't
I
wanna-
asked, no, I didn't
not
ask the
allowed
chief.
to- yeah.
I asked the police officers.
I know, that's something that they'd have to consider, but that's
But
a
that's
contract. That's a
something-
contractual item that,
Would they come to council and ask council, we'll open the contract if you give us a minimum of 38 full-time police officers? Would you even consider that? That's what I'm saying. Then go looking at hiring part-time. And that way would cut back on the overtime.
well, that's something to consider.
Would
yeah.
they consider doing that?
Yeah,
Well, that has to be asked.
and that has to be negotiated with the contract.
Well, no. You can ask them to open their contract.
Well, we could do that, yeah.
I mean, you know, it works both ways. Would they consider opening their contract?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Any other comments? Go ahead, chief, you could make a comment.
I would just like to address one thing. Most police departments that I'm aware of have no limitation on the distance that you can live, to include the state police. You can live anywhere in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as long as you're at work for that time your shift starts. And it's nice to say, make everybody live in the city. The problem is the people who usually say that don't arrest the people that they live next to. And this all came to a point October 5th of 2013 when there was a $25,000 contract on my head. It's not exciting to live in the city where that contract exists. Yes, there were the contracts, death threats on 2 of my officers, supposedly for $10,000 an officer. It's not nice to have to live exactly where you're arresting the people. And there's a lot of things to be said about the safety of the officers. Yeah. And it's nice to be able to just take a deep breath when you can leave and get a little bit of distance because it's your kids that go to the same schools, that live in the same neighborhoods as the people you're arresting. Not that it's a bad city. It's just nice for a little bit of peace of mind to be able to take that breath.
I understand it.
Thank you.
While you're there, Chief, about
Sure.
the cameras, about the cameras, where are we at with the cameras?
Every week, and just last week on Monday, the city finally heard back from PPL, which is who we had to get the pole authorization permit from, to hang our cameras on there, and how are they going to be powered and how are they going to be charged. And of the 15 poles, 13 of them PPL has authorized for us to actually go hang the cameras. So last week, the email was sent to the contractor to say, get with PPL now that you have permission and do their engineering, and let's start to figure out when we can hang these cameras.
Who's the contractor that's doing them?
Bob Bartholomew from Convergys. This afternoon, I sent Bob a reminder that I haven't heard from him since last week when I sent him the give me a status and give me a timeline now of when we could start hanging cameras. But it was just last week on Monday when the city finally got the authorization from PPL.
You sent that to him, that he has permission to go ahead?
Correct.
Okay. So it's all on him?
Right. At this point now, we're ready to start hanging
The
cameras.
contractor.
Correct.
Maybe if you get a chance, maybe you could, when you get in contact with him and he gives you a timetable, you could get back to
Yeah,
us?
absolutely. Like I said, I emailed him today as a reminder that it's been a week I haven't heard from him. As soon as I hear back, I'll forward you the email with the schedule.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments? That's it. Comments from council? Keith?
I'd like everybody, I'd thank everyone for coming, thank all the police officers for coming today and letting us know that you do need the help, which I think we all know up here. And hopefully we can get some of the answers, I guess, that everybody has asked for with the other contracts for the firemen's. And maybe in 2 weeks we can have an answer for you. And so everybody else, thanks for coming and voicing all your concerns as well.
Thank you. Jeff?
I guess tonight there was 4 items on the agenda that all dealt with millions of dollars and dealt with the lives, jobs of everybody, and they still didn't come tonight. I mean, some meetings I understand even not even being here, but there was 4 items that all dealt with a minimum of $1 million tonight, and it's just disgusting. But besides that, I drove past Chestnut Street today, and noticed the no parking signs are gone, but the lines are painted, so I don't know what the mayor is doing over there, because it's still illegal to park on Chestnut Street. And then I just want to thank the fire department, the police department, and the street department for coming out. Thanks.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. First of all, thank you guys. I have to say I've never felt so safe in City Hall as I had tonight. Whether the building was going to burn down or we were going to have a bomb or if I was going to be a target, you know, thank you for coming and thank you for speaking and saying your piece, all right? And don't think it's not listened to. It is, every word, from both the public's point of view and the police or the fireman's point of view. We listen to you all. We have some tough decisions to make. Unfortunately, we don't have the cooperation, and I hate to be a naysayer one more time, but it would help if we had the solicitor here to get a legal opinion. When I asked you who wrote the resolution, it was because I didn't know if it was done properly, if Chris looked at it, so I have to ask questions of you or of the public or of the fire department in order to get answers, because my emails go unanswered, and this is going on since April. So please don't be offended when I do come to you and ask a question. I mean, thank goodness Chief DeAndrea is here a lot of the meetings. He's been able to help us out, but we don't have Tom Prabula here to answer questions from the administration. So we're working in the blind, and we're basically being crippled by that. But we're a strong council, and we will persevere. So I don't care what kind of annex they decide to pull or tactics. We're like the police department or the fire department. We're here, and we're going to persevere. And what we're doing is for the best of everybody involved, and we listen to all sides. We listen to the public as well. We know you are stretched dollar-wise. That's why I want it, and I agree with Jeff and Dr. Sosar and Jack, maybe having us come together, have some discussions. Let's see what we can do to work together to help each other out. You said a slogan, most of the police department tonight, which was something I was saying all along. Help us help you, all right? So together, if we can come together and brainstorm and see what we can come up to, it may not be a perfect solution, but at least we're working together and we're trying our best to help each other out. And I thank you for all coming tonight.
Thank you. Dr. Sosa?
First of all, thank everybody for coming here tonight. And second of all, thank especially the police, the fire, and we even had some city workers, street department workers here. Thank you for doing what you do. It isn't that we are turning a deaf ear to you. It's that we want to make intelligent decisions. People in this town as voters have given us their confidence. We want to do what's best for you. We also want to do what's best for the people in this town. We just want information so that we can make the most intelligent decisions. That's all that we're really concerned about. I've said an awful lot tonight, and I think I've just wanted to say thank you again, and that's it. But thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, Dave. I just have a couple quick things. On Saturday, I was we sat with the mayor, who was able to come to a dinner of honoring the Diamond Fire for their 125th anniversary, the Diamond No. 2 Fire Company. I want to congratulate them. The mayor sat with us at a table and was cordial, but somebody had come up to me and asked me, he said he could come to the dinner and doesn't come to our meetings, and I thought that was funny. The other thing, Chief, I just have two things. Mike Plesh, he's with the Veterans Outreach. I should have called you on it, but I've just been so busy. He's with the Veterans Outreach. He'd like to talk to your men about helping veterans, getting them off the street and into some, the people, the veterans that are on the street who are homeless. And he'd like to talk to your men and tell them how they could talk to these veterans to get them into a program. If that's okay, maybe I'll have him call you. Yeah, Mike Plesh. He's with the Veterans Outreach. I'll have him give you a call if that's okay.
Yeah.
The other thing I have up in your neighborhood, Mark Gronsky. Now, one of his neighbors who's doing business as a notary, they're going in and out there. I know it's a little thing, but it's these little things that are the reason people are leaving town. I had one of my clients who was up on the Heights. This is before you were even chief. Said that his neighbors were noisy. He called police many times. This is before you were even on, and they didn't help him. He said, "I'm moving out." He couldn't take it. He moved out of town. He's in Delano or Haddock. So it's just the little things, and maybe you could look into it. I know. It's frustrating, but I know there's certain rules that when at a notary you have to keep certain ledgers and you have to give them. There's other rules, and maybe I could help you with that and maybe help him out. But with that saying, I want to thank everybody for coming. The police and the fire. You guys do a great job. We're going to look at the contract and come to some decision. And whatever decision we come, it's nothing personal. It's not a reflection on what the job you do, because you're great. You both do a great job, and hopefully, maybe the mayor could get this on as a referendum. Maybe he has some pull with the either election committee or the governor. And once they come to a decision, then we have to come to a decision. So, on a lot of people, it's not binding. He has in there 1%. I had someone come up to me who's the 1% tax to her would mean her taxes are going to be raised between $300 and $400. So she voiced her concerns, and I said I would pass them along to the mayor and to my fellow councilmen. It's 1% to some people is not much. To other people, it's quite a bit. 1 mil of taxes. At that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it.
Adjourn.
And thank you guys. I had a great time at the dinner.